Hey guys, this is Trucker Dad's wife checking in. Tika. Nice to see everyone. All by myself tonight, solo, on a solo mission to get this video out. No, I'm just playing, all jokes aside. I wanted to come on here and make a video by myself without my husband, because normally you guys see him and you see me sometimes in the background on the sidelines, you know, cheering him on. You know what wives do. No, but I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit more about myself. Give y'all a little info or a little backstory or background on me. It's freezing out here in Ohio right now. It's probably too freaking cold. That's what it is. So excuse my blanket and everything. I'm just trying to keep warm for the video. I came on here to let y'all know a little bit about me. Which is not easy to do because I am, for one, very, very, very shy. And for two, I'm a very, very quiet person. And what I mean when I say quiet is I keep a lot of things to myself, a lot of personal things to myself. I've just always been that way. There's no real reason behind it. I just feel like when I go through things or when things are rough for me in my personal life, it's kind of easy to just keep it to myself, at least not let so many people in, because I feel like once you do that, you give people something to talk about, and you give people something to never shut up about. And that's not to say my life is bad. That's not to say that in any way, because that's not the case. I'm just an extremely private person. With that being said, the things that I'm going to talk about in this video are very personal. So it's me stepping in out of my comfort zone for myself, for growth, and also for the new year. It's something that I'm trying to work on. So, but I know a lot of times people have things they're going through and they can relate to you if you open up more. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I just wanted to talk about two great losses that I experienced in my life. Throughout my life, I've lost several people, as a lot of us probably have. And I'll be 34 in 2 weeks. So in my short lifetime, I've had two losses that were a little more dear to me than any other loss I experienced. They took a toll on me for the worst. And I feel like at times, I'm still struggling with how to kind of live without these people, or, you know, go on with my life without these people in it. But like I said, they were very, 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 very dear to my heart. The first one, he was my fiance. At 19 years old, I got pregnant by him and had my first child at 20. I was pregnant. I went through the whole pregnancy by myself with my firstborn because her father was murdered right next to me in my car. This was in June of 2003. I was sitting right next to him in the car when he got shot, and that is how he died. And I was 19 years old, and here I am, 19 years old, pregnant for the first time, and now alone. Difficult. Very difficult. Probably one of the most difficult things I've had to go through in my life, because up until that point, I hadn't experienced a loss as great as that one. For one, and for two, I was never pregnant before that. So I never imagined myself being pregnant alone. You know what I mean? So dealing with the whole motions of now not having him, to having to experience something that's so beautiful. Bringing life into this world is a miracle for a lot of people. I don't take that lightly, and I don't take it for granted. I just didn't know how to live after that. So I focused on wanting to die and wanting to not be here anymore, because I felt like I didn't deserve to live since he did die, and I didn't. And my life was spared that night so that I could have my daughter. so I could continue his living legacy on. And it just wasn't my time, you know. And it wasn't until I had her that I was able to come to terms with that and accept reality for what it was. He was never coming back. She's never going to see him in her lifetime in person. She's never going to hear the sound of his voice for herself. She's almost 14 now. In March, she'll be 14. She never got to experience any type of touch or the love from her father, anything like that, because someone chose to take his life, and for no reason at all. So imagine going through that. The person's on the run, don't know what's going to happen after that, and being pregnant. And I was sick as a dog. I'm telling you, the whole 9 months. I lost 25 pounds during that pregnancy. It was rough on me. Okay, now we speed it up to 2011. Yet again, another great loss in my life. This was my older brother. Nothing really compares to that. We grew up together side by side. We're close in age. He's only a few years older than me. He had just came out to see me. I was in Georgia at the time, living in Georgia at the time. He was still residing in California. And him and my mom and my younger brother came out to visit me for a week. And for some reason, I was begging my brother to stay. I wanted him there. I couldn't bear the thought of him going back to California without giving Georgia a shot for real. You know what I mean? Like, experiencing life in Georgia first. You know? Something in me kept saying, just talk him into it. Please let him stay, Lord. Let him stay. Let him stay. He wasn't having it. That was in August of 2011. I got a call September 5th of that same year. A little over a month after he left Georgia and went back to California. A little over a month after he turned 30 years old, he was taken away. He was murdered. He was murdered outside of a gas station, and I think that sorry. I feel like I don't want to cry. I didn't want to cry. I was hoping that I wouldn't cry. But that loss, I think that one took its toll on me. That was the worst pain I felt physically in my entire life. I feel like that one hit me right in the heart. I was already broken when my daughter's father got killed. And if you were around me or in my life at that time, around me enough to know what really happened and how I was dealing and getting on, so I thought you would know that it was very devastating. It was very traumatic for me to lose my then fiance at the time. And then several years later, the same thing happens to my brother. Now, that was something I never, ever, ever could have imagined. I never thought or expected that at such a young age that he would be taken away, and in such a tragic way. I thank the Lord that the people that were responsible for both murders are sitting in prison for life. That's a good thing that came out of these two horrible situations. The people responsible will never be able to forget what they did. And even though they're still living, how could you be living if you're not free? You know, how could you be living a good life, a fulfilling life, a happy life, if you're not free? Sitting in these four walls in prison for the rest of your life, you're not free. But you still are around to be able to talk to and communicate with your family on some level, to which these two men that were taken away from us are not. Both of them left behind children. My then fiance had 2 children plus my daughter that was on the way, that he left behind, a daughter he never got to meet or know. My brother has two sons who knew who their father was, two sons that he was in their life, and now they are his living legacy. The loss of a loved one, especially loved ones that are so close to you, you feel like that's the end of your life. You feel like you're never going to be able to go on. You wonder how come they were taken and you were spared. You know, there's so many questions all the time. There's so many unanswered questions. There's still so many whys. You know, there's still so many things could have been different. You know, if I would have just done this differently, if I would have just left at this time, if I would have just said no. You know, there's so many things that could have been done differently to prevent what the outcome was on both those nights. I never felt like I was going to be whole again after the loss of my brother, because I felt like, what else now? You know what I mean? What else? I had to learn how to turn my pain into some type of power. That, you know, and now I rarely cry about it, because when I do feel like I'm going to cry, when I do feel down, I'll think about something that's positive about the both of them. I'll think about something that reminds me of them that would have made me smile. And I'll try to remember their voice or their walk, their smell. You know, I'll try to remember good things about them, and that will turn my frown upside down. It'll turn into a smile, and I'll know that I feel like they are with each other in a much better place. As long as you believe in the higher power, that's where you'll be also. And I feel like I just want to let people know out there that you can lose someone really close to you, really dear to your heart, someone that you love and feel like you can't live life without, and still continue living. You just have to make some adjustments. Your living is going to be different. You know, I'll hear a song on the radio, it'll remind me of one of them, and I'll smile inside. A lot of times I smile to keep from crying, and most of the time it works. You know, it most of the time it helps. But I just want you to know that there is life after death. There is life after such a great loss. There is life still, because I know both of them would want me to still live. I have children that still have to be raised by me. I have a husband who still needs his wife to be here completely. You know, I did end up getting married years later. You know, and I have myself that I want to keep smiling and living. Every day that I wake up, I'm grateful for, because at any time that could have been me. You know, and even though I wanted to die after my then fiance was killed, it's because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know anyone that could relate to me at that time in life that experienced a loss like that. I didn't want to be judged, and at the same time, I just wanted to be left alone. Like, I didn't know who I was, you know. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I didn't give up and give in, because that's the easiest thing to do. I'm thankful I did have my daughter and I survived, because she gave me that glimmer of hope, and that's what I needed. You know, I'm thankful for the people who have been around and been in my life through my struggles. If you know me on a personal level, you know I've had quite a bit of struggles. I'm thankful for those people who have just been a shoulder, because there's been many, many times where I just needed that. You know, I'm thankful for people being more understanding than judgmental. And there will be a part 2 to this video. I just wanted to let people out there know that there is still life after death. There's still hope. You can still breathe again. You can still smile. You can still go on. And most likely, that's what the people that you lost would want you to do. So keep living life, even after a loss. Keep loving your loved ones. Keep respecting your neighbors and being positive. You know, keep living. Trucker Dad Wife checking out. Peace.